Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the Bondcast. Today we're here for, as you can see, part two of my 007 First Light wish list video series. I don't want to call it a series, but there is expected to be one more, as recommended by a lovely viewer on the first part. So, uh, this is part two. Kind of simple, kind of just fun, less talking about the game itself, and as you can see, talking about like the cosmetics, just some fun stuff I want to see in the gear, the vehicles, stuff like that. Um, when I got to working on this list, there were a few moments where I'm like, I don't really have that much to say about some of these things. I just think they'd be cool, which is why I'm thinking this is probably going to be a shorter video. But I always say that, so we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and jump in. The first part of this video is going to be talking about cosmetics for James Bond himself. Whether that's in the form of skins, costumes, disguises, whatnot. I mostly went down the skins route and just kind of my favorite James Bond looks throughout the years. Things I kind of want to see in the game, as either in the form of DLC or preferably unlockable rewards like you get throughout playing the game, or maybe even just stuff they give later on, like kind of events or whatnot. So either way, we'll see. Let's go ahead and jump in to part one: Bond skins, costumes, and cosmetics. We start off with Pierce Brosnan's tactical outfit. Now, there's a few iterations of this, as you can see. Um, I I love all of them, to be completely honest with you, but my preference here is the one that they used for the games, which is mostly inspired by the Everything or Nothing one. I think they also used that in Nightfire, if I'm not mistaken. And I think there's a similar one in Agent Under Fire, even though that's not Brosnan. I could be wrong about that, but I'm fairly certain. Either way, I love that suit. I think it's just a staple for video game Bond. It's how I imagine him, because I grew up with Everything or Nothing. But any of these I think will be pretty cool. There's a few different tactical options I have in this list, but I wanted this to be the top of the list. Oh, and I should clarify, this is not in any particular order. This isn't the look I want to see the most. It is the first thing that popped into my mind. So if that tells you anything about it. Also, I am drinking some Jameson Orange. Just about to finish off the bottle, so hope you guys are drinking along with me, chilling out. Let's get to number two. I guess I should say something about this. I don't really know what else to say about this one other than I would think it's pretty iconic. I think Pierce Brosnan really rocked it. Timothy Dalton also had a similar one at the beginning of The Living Daylights. Either way, I just think it's super cool. The tactical stuff is always cool. The straps, the pouches, whatnot. Maybe that's a personal thing. Let's go ahead and move on. I think I've dallied long enough. Number two, of course, the white dinner tuxedo jacket. We've already, or jacket tuxedo, whatever I wrote. We've already seen this in the trailer, so to me it was important to include it on the list. But we already know it's there. So here's some of the famous James Bond wearing the exact look in question. Let's go ahead and move on to number three. Of course, some iteration or variation or whatever of the Goldfinger suit would be pretty awesome. I don't think I'm the only person who thinks this. This is an iconic James Bond look, and I'm pretty sure Goldfinger is the one who did this. The pleated pants, the three-piece suit. It just looks fantastic. I'd love to have a suit like that one of these days, but you know, money and whatnot. So maybe I can make do in my 007 First Light. If they just give me a skin, I'll get over it. But either way, so yeah, I like that one. Listen, there's going to be some silly picks here. I would love to see the seagull diving suit have some kind of appearance in this game, even if it's only a joke. I think it would just be fantastic. Yeah, there's a few on this list, and the reason I wasn't scared to put this on there, IO Interactive is not afraid to do some silly ass shit. It, I reference Hitman a lot. That's just because it's what they do. They have the vampire magician costume. There's a clown costume. There's a giant flamingo mascot costume you can wear. Yeah, I don't know. I think this would be at least a cool homage at some point, but obviously it's not going to make or break the game for me. But I think this would have been a hella cool like pre-order bonus, to be honest. But moving on. I love maybe this is just me projecting. I love the black polo sweater that Sean Connery wears. It, as you can see in the bottom left, he just kind of pushes them up I don't know. I just think that's super cool. I think that's a great look. I don't think, obviously, it's not necessary, but it is something I'd like to see. Um, yeah, some of these looks are just going to be things I liked. Things I liked that they wore that maybe I want to wear. I think it'd be pretty cool to see in the game. But obviously, this isn't taking any precedence or any like this isn't the best suit on the list or the best outfit on the list, obviously. But I keep rehashing that. Why don't we just go ahead and move on to number 6, Quantum of Solace Tom Ford blue suit. I love this suit. Believe it or not, when I was trying to Google this, I don't know why I was having so much damn trouble getting actually this suit. It kept pulling the suit from Spectre, which or No Time to Die, where it's like plaid. I don't know. I like this pinstripe suit. I think that this is an iconic James Bond look, and it's exactly what I'd like to see in the game. Not too much to go on about this. I think it's a fantastic suit. Moving on, and I do think most people agree. He looked the best in Quantum of Solace. Despite the movie's misgivings, they had that man dressed to the nines the whole film. He looked really good. All right. Anyway, and then we come to Timothy Dalton. This is kind of a joke, kind of serious. I call it the tactical neck. It's where he's about to snipe the sniper, and he just pops up his collar and then puts it across, kind of like the military does with their collars. I just think that'd be kind of funny, but also kind of cool. Uh, yeah, not too much to go on about that. It's pretty much just a tuxedo with an interesting neck variation. I think it'd be cooler if there was a way to wear the suit to where you can like toggle it, but that might be a bit too much. Anyway, moving on. Number 8, Skyfall outfit with, I don't know how to say that, barber jacket? Barber jacket? I don't know. Anyway, this is a fantastic suit or jacket. I really do like it. Um, Not too much about it. I just think it looks nice and cozy. He's got the, is that an ascot? I'm pretty sure it's an ascot. I like it. Anyway, don't really have too much to say about it, other than I'd like to see it. I think it's pretty cool. Um, Another, again, kind of funny, kind of serious thing. The Highland dress from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I think that this would be a cool inclusion. Um, as silly as it might look in comparison to some of the other outfits and out of place it might look in the game, I still think it'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty cool. But moving on. Um, yeah, I think this is also a fantastic. I just like overcoats personally. Overcoats, peacoats, all that's pretty cool, and I just think he looks fantastic here. Um, this kind of looks like something Hitman would wear, but with sunglasses. He doesn't often wear those in the game, at least not the skins I really wear. But I think it's fantastic. I think it'd be a pretty cool suit, especially towards maybe the end. And then we get to Roger Moore's safari suit. This is kind of an extended section. I have more than one slide for the beige, tan, khaki suits. I don't know. Man, the cats are going crazy. I don't know. I just think I just always have liked this color. I think it's kind of a vibe, and I think Roger Moore really pulls it off. Is it dated? Yes. Does it matter to me? No, not really. I think he looks really good. I think this is some of the best that he looks. I saw a video on it earlier. He really leans into the fashion of the 70s, kind of becoming the icon of it, in my opinion. Because when you look back at other like games from the or not games, other movies from the 70s, right? You can tell sometimes when people are just kind of a product of the era. I think he looks really good. I think he really makes the 70s work for him, and not everyone has that kind of power. Uh, and I think his safari suits are really just kind of a staple of that. Then, of course, we have other beige, tan, khaki suits. I just like seeing this kind of stuff, Brosnan, Connery. And then, of course, we have the kind of tan and blue that they keep kind of rehashing in. Dalton also had a look for this. Um, I don't love this one all that much. I mean, it's kind of iconic. They've done it so many times, but in my personal opinion, not super great. And then here's just the bonus one, just for fun. Yeah, just thought you would like that crotch shot. Moving on. And then we get Connery's blue romper. This is also iconic. I think this would be just funny. Imagine just running around as the Bond from First Light, just wearing this executing people in your slippers. I think that would be, or maybe not executing them, but incapacitating them. I think it'd be pretty cool. But if I were ranking this would be on the list. I'll probably pick my top five at the end to scroll through and see what my top five would be outside of what we already know is going to be there. I mean, we already know there's going to be a tactical look for the new Bond, but um, when I put that on the list, I'm kind of inspired by Brosnan. Anyway, sorry, I just started going back on something I want to say later. Here's Daniel Craig's tactical outfit from No Time to Die. I like this. I do like the look. It's not my favorite tactical look, but I do think it's cool. I think the sweater is really nice. But, I don't have too much to say about it, so we'll go ahead and move on to number 14, Roger Moore's navy blazer and khaki pants. Again, I think this is something he pulls off really well. I don't think it's something that you really see I don't know if we ever see this combination again with other Bonds. I could be wrong about that. I'm completely spacing. But either way, I think he looks really good. I really like the gold buttons. And I think I'd like to see something like this in the game, of course. Moving on to number 15. I feel no shame in saying I think the clown costume needs to be in this game. I think he really, I think he would fit the vibe that IO Interactive usually sets in their game. But of course, maybe they're taking a different route with First Light, so maybe I should retract that statement. But anyway, I think it'd be funny. And then we move on to Brosnan's fencing outfit, just something I threw in there. Not that I think this is not anywhere near. Yeah, this is near the bottom of the list. But if you wanted to reference Die Another Day for some other reason, I think this would be interesting. Maybe maybe there could be a reference to this like in a mission, like you can, if it's again like Hitman, just because I'm comparing it to what I know. If there's any mission like where someone's fencing in the corner, you can knock them out, take their disguise, and maybe that could be the callback to this outfit. I don't know. Not a super big deal. Not one that I would advocate too heavily for, but yeah, that is that. I will go ahead and do the top five for that now before we move on to the rest of it. I'll put this number five in no particular order, actually. This would be in my top five. This is top five for sure. Let's see. Honestly, yeah, this would be my top five, specifically this shot right here. I like that. I like that fit. We'll see. This is top five for sure. Seagull. Goldfinger. Maybe. Do I know how to do math? Yeah. And you know what? I would put specifically the Everything or Nothing fit in my top five just because of nostalgia. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. All right. I'll take that. I'll take that as top five. I think it's interesting. Does it make a lot of sense? No. Those are all suits I'd like to see referenced, cosmetics, like either in the game that you can equip or maybe just have for a couple of seconds as a homage or some kind of Easter egg or something like that. Again, none of that's super critical. I don't think any of that will make or break the game as a whole, but certainly I think it would be cool to see those. Going ahead and moving on to part 2 of this video, the vehicles and variants. Going forward, they're shorter sections. It's mostly the cosmetics I focused on. These were kind of just things I added. So there's not that many vehicles and variants I have here. However, we have to start off, of course, the Aston Martin DB5. This is just, as much as it doesn't matter that much to me, not that I don't want to see it, but I like that they went with a different Aston Martin. I don't think that it needs to be the DB5 all the time, but I feel like it'd be weird without it. Though, in my opinion, I would like him to get this card later. Like, they are planning on doing more than one game. They've already said that. I think it'd be cooler to get this in maybe the second one. Like, when Bond's a bit more what we're expecting of him. He's a bit older. He's had a couple missions under his belt maybe. and maybe this is you start the game by winning this in a poker match or something. I don't know, something Bondy and that's not already done before, like what I just said. What I said was not very creative, but you know, maybe you earn that in the second game. But if it's not in this one, I'll be shocked, to be honest. I will not be surprised if we get this in this game. But uh, either way, I digress. The Aston Martin DB5 needed to be on the list. Now, from the books, Ian Fleming always wrote about the Bentley 4.5 liter. I don't know much about these old cars. However, I do know, based on my very brief research, that this is roughly what it looks like. I'm pretty sure it was silver. I don't know too much about these old cars, but I think it would be super cool to have, the original Bond car from the books make its way to the game, even if only as a cosmetic thing or something. Maybe you see for half a second. I don't know, but I think it'd be a cool little cosmetic thing that maybe you can equip. But again, I don't know much about this car. I don't really have too much to say about it either, other than I think it's interesting. And it's cool to have a visual because when I was reading the older Bond books that I'm still reading through some of Fleming's original works, it was hard for me to picture it because I didn't know what it looked like. So, though the rest of it kind of goes up to imagination, my brain was having a hard time just making up what the car looked like. So, I'm glad I looked into it for this video because it helped me kind of picture it a little bit better. But anyway, I think this would be a super cool addition to the game. And then the one I grew up with, the modern DBS. I just love this car. As you can see, it's Casino Royale. It's just a fantastic looking car. It's so cool. It's got such bite. Is it my favorite looking Aston Martin? Not really. It's second. I would probably say this is my second favorite design for Aston Martin. But I think it'd be super cool. Like I said, I've said it multiple times, I grew up with Casino Royale as one of the main Bond films of my childhood, right? And yeah, I think it'd just be super cool. It'd be such a cool nod to one of my favorite Bond movies of all time and one of my favorite Bond cars. And then we move on to uh, the Corvorado. Is that what it is? I thought it was Corvinado. Anyway, it's a Corvette built into some. Is it Eldorado? I don't know. Anyway, this is from Live and Let Die. I'm fairly certain. I just think it'd be interesting. This one I threw in there mostly because I was just going through all the Bond cars and I'm like, man, what do I want? What do I want to put in my top five? And I saw this one and was like, I didn't even realize this was considered a Bond car. But yeah, I mean, he does drive the car. So anyway, I don't have too much to say about this one. Let me move the cursor. Um, anyway, I do think it'd be pretty cool. But moving on to 21, we have the BMW Z8. Now, there's a few BMWs I could have gone with that Pierce Brosnan drives. I just like this Roadster. I just like it. It's not my favorite BMW of all time. It's not even my favorite BMW that Brosnan drives in the Bond series, but I really like it. I think it'd be cool, and it gives me the chance to make a shit joke. Oh, I had a joke in here. I took it out of of it getting split in half. Well, I forgot I took it out. I couldn't find a good image of it. Well, anyway, there goes the joke. I'm only slightly embarrassed. I think it's a cool car. I think it'd be fun to have. I think it would add some variety considering if they went with my cars, none of these are, quite like this. So, moving on to number 22, you already kind of got a nice view of it. Lotus Esprit S1, Esprit. I don't know. This is an iconic car. This is probably arguably number two most iconic Bond cars, and number two on that list. I feel like a lot of people would feel that way. It's the car that drives underwater. It's the sub car. People love this car. I think it's fantastic. If this were a list of top five, like if I was putting this in order of the cars I want to see, this would obviously be near the top of the list. I don't think they'd be able to make it drive in the water without it like changing the game fundamentally, unless they have another car they're planning on making it drive onto the water. I feel like mechanically it would be really insane for them to do all that just for this one car, but obviously I still think it's cool just on the road. Yeah, this would definitely be near the top of that list. Moving on, yeah, that's the end of that. The reason I didn't include it is because it's already in the game, but the classic DBS, the one that we see in the trailer, that's my favorite Bond car design. That and is it the Vantage? Is that what he drives in the Living Daylights? The green Aston Martin? Those are my favorite designs for uh, the Aston Martins that he drives in the films. So anyway, I just want to go back to that because I said this was my second favorite, or it was up there. But we're already getting one of my favorite Bond designs in the game, so I didn't really want to add it. So, but yeah, if I had to only pick one of these to come, honestly, it would probably be the Lotus, um, just because it's so cool, and probably this one, the DBS, just because I like it, just because I grew up with it. But anyway, moving on to part three, gear and equipment, the shortest section, I'm fairly certain. Uh, I kind of just did this for fun. They're gonna. I hope they give us more original gear than just the stuff that's in the movies. But I didn't go with any of the handguns, mostly because I didn't think about it. I think I was supposed to, but then that was a thought that I lost until just now. Obviously, Walther PPK. Uh, is it P99? Is that what Brosnan used? Those are the two I'd love to see come back just because, again, the PPK um, is just so iconic. The Beretta, is it Beretta M9? Am I just making that up? I don't know. Anyway, he used the Beretta before that. That would also be kind of a cool callback. And then P99 Brosnan used quite often through his years. I'm fairly certain, at least through the first two movies. Anyway, I just know those aren't here. So jumping in, the Armalite AR-7. I'd love to see this. I think this would be so cool. This is the sniper from Russia with Love that he takes apart. He puts together all of the pieces fit into the stock of the sniper. Not to reference Hitman again willingly, but this would also work in Hitman because Agent 47 can take apart snipers and put them into a briefcase to carry them around. I mean, obviously they could do something like this animation-wise in this game to make it even cooler, but I just think this would be cool. I think it'd be something fun to see. This is also kind of a joke. The Ghetto Blaster from The Living Daylights. This is a bit ridiculous. It's extremely ridiculous, but like I said, maybe it could be a variant of a rocket launcher or something. I don't know. I just think it'd be interesting to have. The Felix lighter. This is the one that shoots an outrageous amount of flames, like 2 feet away from the lighter. As you can see in that image there, someone is catching the hot end of that stick. But I think that'd be super cool. Maybe it could just be something like you click and you just hold it out, and maybe it has like a recharge rate or something like that. I don't know, but that'd be super cool. If they could try to find a way into that. The exploding pen, like I said, in the bottom corner, maybe a variant of a hand grenade or something, just kind of a cool callback. Maybe they could find a way to incorporate it into the story or something. I don't know, but then of course the golden gun. In the pre-order bonus, I'm fairly certain is what it is. There's just a golden skin for I'm pretty sure that was a Walther, or at least whatever handgun it is. I think it'd be cool to actually have the golden gun as a skin that you can unlock. Maybe you don't have to put it together or anything like that, but if it looked exactly like this, I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah. Or maybe it could be a gun that gets past security or any frisk points because you have all the pieces, you just have to put it together. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah. Moving on, we have the Dentonite toothpaste. I love that picture on the left. I went with that. Just found it on Google. This kind of goes into number 29, but as you can see, they have the toothpaste spread across the windowsill with a packet of cigarettes with a wire that leads into another cigarette stuck in it. So this is explosive toothpaste, if you haven't pieced that together. And the number 29 is explosive cigarettes / rocket cigarettes. So, and the Living Daylights, or not the Living Daylights, License to Kill. Sorry about that. they're obviously going to explode like C4. Um, and then of course in is this You Only Live Twice? He's got like a cigarette that actually like shoots a rocket out. I think either one of those variants would be pretty interesting. Neither are really necessary to make the game great, but I think both would be kind of sweet. And then of course we get to the last thing on today's list, the ever iconic jetpack. Even if only for one mission, I think it'd be cool to see a jetpack mission. It'd be interesting as hell if they used the original jetpack design from from these older movies, Thunderball. It's referenced in the From Russia with Love game as well. It's kind of the ending of the first mission. So either way, I think all of these, you know, cars, skins, equipment, I think it'd all be pretty cool stuff to see. But none of this is super serious. None of this is like going to make or break the game for me. If absolutely none of these appear in the game, honestly, I won't be too surprised. The DB5, I think, would shock me a little bit to not see that, at least in some kind of skin or something you unlock by maybe 100% of the game or whatever, whatnot. But appearing whether in the story, I won't be surprised. Outside of the Walther, PPK, I feel like that's a lock, right, to get into the game if it's not already. Uh, but yeah, then of course I put thanks for watching. But I think I'd like to see the lighter the most. I think that this would be interesting from the equipment standpoint, and maybe this, but I don't know. It also kind of depends on the gameplay that they decide to go with. Like I said, I'm comparing this to Hitman because that's all I know about at the moment. I don't know exactly how it's going to differ. I mean, we can see the gameplay, how much more cinematic it's going to be. But other than that, it does kind of seem like the core gameplay is heavily similar. Not that that's a complaint, but it's I keep making those comparisons, and I've had a couple of comments with people telling me they hope it's not like Hitman at all, and I'm like, it seems like it's gonna be, but you know. Anyway, these are all things I'd like to see. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something I'm missing, and as soon as I finish this video, even though I've been working on this list for 2+ weeks, I feel like there's gonna be something I'm missing. Yeah, I don't know. I liked everything on this list. I think it'd all be super cool to see. But at the moment, I don't really have too much else to say. Like I said, there's going to be a part 3 inspired by a lovely viewer from the first part of my wish list video. So I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you all for the support. And I am really looking forward to keep doing this, to keep talking about 007 First Light. My direction for the channel has kind of pivoted a little bit with the fact that we're prepping a big move, actual relocation. We're moving a little bit closer to our families. If you didn't know, me and my fiance were in the military up until late last year, 2024, whenever you're watching this, I guess. And we just kind of never moved. We never moved from the area we were in, and we're kind of ready to move a little bit closer to family, a little bit closer to friends. And with that comes a lot of prep, a lot of work, a lot of financial obligations, we'll say. And of course, we do have the 2 cats who are depraved enough as it is. So if it does seem like I'm wishy-washy with the videos, I'm not uploading enough, I am sorry. I'm trying my best. I've kind of hit the philosophy where I'm going to stick mostly to my schedule, but I'm going to upload when I can. I'm going to upload whenever I have the energy to record and do it. But either way, the support has been, just incredible. I'm thankful for all of you. And I do look forward to a long future with the channel. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this now and wrap up the video. So thank you all for stopping by, and hope you all have a great day. Peace out, everyone. Later.